Hey, welcome back to part 2. Okay, if you missed part 1, you need to go back and do part 1 because we set up these sliders here. We've got a music slider, sound effect slider. They save their positions when you restart, so they're in the right spot. Now we need to set it up to where it's a pause menu, like I have here. Like I'm hitting a button. That way we could set it up on the controller. See, I'm pressing start. And then we'll have the buttons control the volumes on the gamepad. All right, we want the sound settings to load when you pause. And I was looking at my old project here, and I noticed that I have the old input system here, input action system, and I have it in the player controller because I have multiple characters in my game. But the bottom line is basically we're going to put this logic wherever your pause menu is. So if you already have a pause menu, this functionality will work there. If you don't have a pause menu, that's perfectly fine. We're going to go ahead and make a simple pause menu, and we're going to go ahead and use the updated input system. Okay, back in our project, we're going to go ahead and make a input action so that we can press pause. Let's go to our content drawer, and we'll use the existing inputs here. Let's go to third person and then go to input. And we'll go to actions. We're going to make a new input action. And it's just a button press. So I'm going to duplicate jump. And we're going to rename it IA_pause. We do need to open it up and change something. We need to make sure it says or trigger when paused is checked so that we can unpause. It'll be able to work during a pause. Okay. And then back in our content drawer, we need to browse back to input because we're going to open this. This is the input mapping context. And basically we're just going to add the pause button. And you add it here with the plus sign next to mappings. Here it is right here. And for the key, I'm going to do tab on the keyboard. You could press this little icon here and then press the key value that you want. And then we're going to add another one for the controller. And it's right here. You add a control binding right here. And this is going to, I'm pulling out my game controller here, and I'm going to use start as pause. Gamepad special right. All right, and that's our pause button. We're going to go ahead and save that. We can close this. And then we're going to browse to our character. So go to third person, then blueprints, then third person character, or if you have your own project, you could browse to your character, or if you're using the player controller. Anyway, we're going to access that pause input that we made. So we type in pause. And it's going to be this one, the IA_pause with it's under enhanced action events here. Boom. And then we're going to go off of started. So this is pretty much like pressed. You know, there used to be the old pressed and released. Started pretty much means pressed. And we're going to check if the game is paused. We're going to make a really, really simple pause menu so we could just get the sound settings on screen. We'll do is game paused. And I'm going to do a not boolean just because I like the logic to flow off of true. Just not boolean, and then we're going to connect this to a branch. Go off of started. And if the game is not paused, we're going to go ahead and pause it. We're going to set game paused. Nifty little function. And just to test, we'll off of false, we'll do set game paused and unpause. And if you see this, don't mind this. I did this already. We'll just walk you through it. Okay, so now we just need to get the menu to the sound settings to show up. And we've done this before. We did this in the level blueprint. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go into the level blueprint and we can copy and paste some stuff. Let's open the level blueprint. Okay, this is what we did before. Okay, ignore this up here. I'll just walk you through it. This is what we left off on before. Okay, so basically we definitely want this. And we want this. Okay, we're going to copy these. The create sound settings. And then the mouse stuff. I'm hitting Control C. I have this highlighted. Hit Control C. Control V. Boom. Basically, this puts the settings on screen. Show mouse cursor. Okay, and then we're actually going to get rid of it from here because we're not going to do it. We're not going to load it in the third person map off the bat anymore. So we don't need that. Okay, the level is, we're going to keep this here because we're just going to spawn the music in the level. Okay, and when you open the level, it checks that. Okay, so we're going to keep that. Okay, good. I could just get rid of this. Don't mind this. Okay, so that's what our level blueprint looks like now. Compile, save. And then let's go back to the character. Boom. Okay, and so if we are paused and we want to unpause, we want to get rid of the widget off the screen. So we're actually going to need a reference to the widget. So right off of this Create Sound Settings UI widget, we're going to right click here and promote it to a variable. And I'm going to call it Sound Settings UI Ref. And then that'll go into add to viewport. Oh, you could just do this. You could get rid of that pin. You go boom, boom. And then that adds it to viewport. Make sure you connect up here. And now we have a reference here. Okay, ignore this one. I'm sorry I made that one earlier. We're going to use this one now. This is the one we made. And you could take it out of your variables here. Just drag it out. Go get. And then we're going to do remove from parent. And basically that's just going to take it off the screen. It's going to take it off the viewport. But then we want the mouse cursor. And okay, let's get player controller. Okay, got get player controller, and then we're going to do set input mode game only. Just like that. And then the mouse cursor we can copy. Goes to player controllers, the target. And then we uncheck this. All right, let's go ahead and test this. So this is how it should look. Let's go ahead and test our little pause feature here. Turn on my controller. Boom. Okay, it shows up. Boom. Boom. Ignore the resume button. We'll make that next. Okay, so now we have it showing up during a pause. That's good stuff. Now we can work on the buttons. All right, and a lot of this is just going to be done in the UI widget that we made. Back here, we're going to go to the content, audio settings tutorial, and then the sound settings UI. And this will be, if you have your own sound settings widget, we're going to work in it. And I just added a resume button here. You can go ahead and you type button up here. And then you add a button. Go ahead and move it to the spot. You could add a space or two if you want. And you don't need a resume button because if you hit pause again, it'll unpause. But you could put a text in there and put resume over there, much like we made the buttons here. And I just wanted to show that you could make a resume button easily. You could press pause again and it'll go away. But basically name your resume button. And then over here you go on clicked. And that'll give you this guy. And then we're going to remove from parent. So that's remove from parent. You find it just like that. And you make a reference to self. Get player controller. Just like that. And then it's just like how we have it. And then you set game pause, just like that. That's just if you want a resume button. We're not going to focus on that. Now we're going to get the controller to focus on the buttons. You know, once you hit pause, I want the buttons to highlight. So that's what we're going to work on. We're going to have it to where the controller will highlight the button. We can press right or down and go to a different button with our controller. And in order to do that, and first off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the event graph here, and we are going to make a new function. And basically what we need to do is add all these buttons to an array, and we need to set that array as a variable. And I guess quite literally I'm going to do f underscore, I like to do that for functions, and then set button array. This is how I get the controller to work. So we're going to you take out all the buttons. All the buttons in the UI. Oh wait, I already got that one. And those are sliders, so we don't need those. We just need the buttons. And then just drag off one of the buttons, and we're going to make array. And then add the amount of pins that you need. You need one per button here. And then we'll right click, promote this to a variable, and just call it the button array. Button array. Nice. Okay. Compile and save, and let's go back to the event graph tab here. Okay, and in the event graph, basically what I'm going to be doing is changing the color of the button, whether or not it has keyboard focus, you know, so whether it's selected. So off event construct, we're just going to do a quick check to make sure it loads up the focus of the button. Just do it from experience. I just do a quick delay. I don't think this is needed, but I do like just a real short delay, probably just even 0.1. Right, and then we go has keyboard focus. Okay. Slide this over. This goes into a branch. And then we're actually going to set the button that we want to be highlighted from the beginning, which is I think I'll start with this top left one. You could choose the resume button if you want. I'm gonna choose this top left button. I should have labeled my buttons. This is music volume down. That'd be better practice. Volume down button. That's better practice, but we'll take that variable right here. You can see it's in the variables. You get the volume down button, and you go set keyboard focus. So when you load up the options or the volume settings, this button will be highlighted. Now we gotta do something off of vent tick, which it's not gonna. You don't have to worry about it. It's not a big drain, and you're gonna have a menu. The game's gonna be paused, so this is fine. Oh yeah, and I forgot something. I guess we should add that set button array function first. I think in my other game I have it set when you press pause, but just as long as it's before this, just make sure this fires off first. And I just dragged that straight off our functions there. Boom, okay, so it's going to set all the buttons first. Okay, now let's go back to tick. And off of tick, we're just going to be checking which button has the focus, and we're going to have it change colors and highlight. So we're going to take our button array, we're going to drag it out and go get, and we're going to do a for each loop. Right. Just like that. And drag off of here and do has keyboard focus, and it's just going to be checking it. It's going to go into a branch. And basically, if it does have keyboard focus, let's drag off the array element, and we're going to do set background color. Right, and the array element, meaning the button in this case, this one will be highlighted somehow. So let's do like a green color with like a little bit of alpha removed, like 8 and green, like that. Just make it green. Whatever you want the color you want the button to turn when it's selected, and then when it's not selected, I think it was like a gray color. We're just doing this for functionality, not making it look super pretty. Once you could probably get creative with how it looks. See here, let's just do a gray. This is like a dark gray. Maybe darker. Dark. Okay. All right, let's compile and save this. Oh, and then there's one more thing we need to do before we test it. Let's go back to the designer, and up in the search, look up focus. And we're going to check is focusable. Okay, and compile and save, and now we can test it. I'm going to minimize this, play, pull out my controller, press pause. Ooh, nothing. Okay, sorry about that. I found the problem. I'm not sure why I had this, but I was copying off my old project, and I had that there. We don't need that there. I'm not sure what I was doing there. But this is a good lesson also. That's why we test a lot, because when you're making your own stuff, you're going to test a lot, and then you're going to see that it didn't work, and then you come back, and then you analyze it. So let's go ahead and test it now. Play here, pull out my controller, press pause. Okay, boom. You see that it highlights? And then I'm going to give y'all two options here. I did it this way so I could show y'all. Okay, so we got the button here, and then you also have the slider. You could click on the slider, move the slider, and then you select again, and you can move off of it. Or what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these two sliders not selectable, just because I like using the buttons. And we're going to make the buttons adjust the slider in increments. And then check this out. When you press the resume button, boom, we're back in. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's make those changes to the buttons, and it should work. All right, so let's get back into the event graph of the UI here. Let's go boop, boop. And we're going to work on one of these at a time. Let's start on the music one. Let's get a little organized, actually, too. I'm going to slide this down. I'm going to comment this. This is going to be our music slider. And basically, we're going to give it some space here. We're going to be giving it a lot of space. We're going to make the functionality of the buttons here. So, the music volume slider. Okay, we have it named. That's good. Volume down. Let's do the volume up button. Okay, let's actually change this to music volume down. And this music volume up, since we have a sound effects one too. And this is going to be music volume up. Let's go ahead and okay, sound effects there. Let's call this SFX button. Or SFX volume down button. We're going to do SFX volume up button. UI stuff's just kind of tedious. This is just how I do it here. So we got that. Okay, and let's start with the volume up button. That way we'll have volume up here and then volume down there. Just makes nice sense. And we'll start with the music volume up. And we're going to do on clicked. So select your music volume up, on clicked. Oh, it puts it down there, but we're going to put it back up here. Everything's nice and organized here. All right, and then we're going to take our music slider, get music slider, and we're going to get value. And then off of get value, we're going to do a quick check here. Let's do a less than. And then we're going to promote this to a variable. And this is going to be our max volume variable, okay? Okay, and then our max volume value. Let's just go over to our music volume here. And we got the max value at 1. Okay. So we're going to set it. Oh, we got to compile. And then we're going to set it to 1. Okay, and that goes into a branch. We're just basically seeing if it's all the way turned up or not. And to make it cleaner, we're just going to copy this and paste it over here. We just need this reference to the music slider. Okay, so basically we're seeing if the music's turned all the way up. And if it's turned all the way up, you can't turn it up anymore. But if it's not turned all the way up, or let me put it this way. We're making sure it's not turned up all the way. And if it is turned up all the way, nothing happens. Otherwise, we get the value. And then we're going to add to it. Let's just add 0.1. Let's do an addition. So every time you punch the button, it goes up a tenth. Right? And then we set the value. Right? Okay, it's going to want it. We got to drag off the music slider and then put set value. And then you can plug it in. You can plug in the addition here. And then we're going to push that. We're going to set the sound mix class, right? After here, yeah, set sound mix class. That'll be that value. And then every time you set the sound, you need to push it. Push sound modifier. Push sound mix modifier. Okay, yeah, make sure it's the game sound, our game sound mix that we wanted. And then we're going to have to grab our music value. This right here. That's from our save audio reference. Okay, so we need our save audio reference to access that. We're going to go ahead and get that. We'll drag it over to the end over here. With our save audio reference, then you can set your music value. Just like that. And it will be this value after the addition has happened. And then we can save it. Like every time this happens, it just automatically saves your volume setting. You could copy this or you could drag off of your save audio reference again. And we're basically going to go save game to slot. And our slot name was save audio. And I think it's case sensitive, so make sure that's right. Save audio, just like that. I think it's over here. Yeah, it's correct. And that should be our music up. And what I like to do is, since we're going to have another similar button, let's go ahead and copy all of this. Oh, let's give some space for the sound effects. We're going to paste this here. And let's comment this sound effect slider. SFX. Or just sound effects. Sound effects would have been fine. Okay. And this is going to be off the sound effects volume up button on clicked. Just like we did the music. But we need to change the variables. Okay, since this is the sound effects, this is the sound effects slider. And what's cool is you could just drag them over here and put it into the space. Boom. Max volume, yes. Sound effects. And now this is going to change. This is going to be set sound effects value. Okay. It's going to get a good old replace. And then this is going to be this value off of the addition. Then you could get rid of that. Just to save time. All right, now let's do volume down. Okay. Okay, and the volume down is going to be very similar. So let's start on the music. Let's do music volume down. On clicked. I hate how it throws it to the bottom there. That's all right though. Right there. And now we're just going to be checking to make sure it's greater than 0. Very similar to this. Let's just copy this. We're getting the music slider value. And let's just do a greater than. And you could keep it as 0. We're just making sure it's greater than 0. Plug that into a branch. If it's greater than 0, we can turn the music slider down. Or get value. And let's subtract it by 0.1. Subtract by 0.1. We'll do a set value. Looking good. This is coming off the true. It's going to be very similar. In fact, we could just copy this. That goes into the volume. We copy this. Copy this, and we're going to get... Okay, this is actually the same as well. I could have copied even more, but you know, it's good to walk through it. And then we're going to copy this as well. Cool. And we're going to do a similar thing, very similar thing down here. Let's go to our sound effects down button. Okay, sound effects volume down button on clicked. Let's put it up where we're working on it. And we're just going to make sure it's greater than 0. So we've done that before. Just checking if greater than 0. But it is the sound effects slider that we need as the target. Okay, and this is the same, except we're going to be subtracting. Let's do a cool little subtraction node. We're going to subtract it by 0.1. That plugs in. So you can see it's kind of repetitive. We can copy that. Make sure you plug all the volume values. Just like that. Fun. And it's kind of organized. Look at that. It's kind of organized. Okay, and something I forgot to do as I was going, I really should have checked on this, but I forgot to add these values here. So we've got our game sound mix. Make sure you set all of your set sound mix class override nodes, and then this is for music. This is our music slider, so we're dealing with music. Make sure these have values. And then down here we have our sound effects. So you click your sound effects class here. We're going to compile and save. And I'm going to do one more thing before we test. Let's select our sliders here and go is focusable. I'm going to search focus. And I'm going to make that not focusable. And I'm going to make this not focusable. So both of these are now no longer focusable. And just the buttons will work. So let's go ahead and compile and save. We'll look at the graph. So we come back to it. And we're going to just test it. Let's test it here. Let's run around. Boom. Got music all the way up. See the music turned down? Sound effects turned down. Oh, I don't have the little sound tester though. Okay, let's add that. Hold on. Okay, so let's go back to the sound effects slider and let's just copy this spawn sound 2D. Let's just paste it here, and after each one it'll end with a little sound. We'll plug both ends of that into the spawn sound. Okay. Let's test this. There. Cool. Yay. Yes. Okay. That's pretty cool. It feels good to make a tutorial again. And I'm looking forward to making a lot more. I took a little break from game dev. I've been Twitch streaming on gtaRP. I got into the Onyx and the Purple server, and I just spent a whole lot of time RPing. But now I'm gonna spend a whole lot of times making my own games again. And let me know if you guys want to learn some new stuff. What kind of tutorials y'all want to maybe take a look at. If this helped you at all, please like. Okay, bye.